Hey, happy Wednesday. Let's talk about a couple haptic sets. We've got the TRN Mars, which is a dynamic driver slash haptic driver. It's one and the same with a balanced armature. There's no adjustable switches really that I can find, so the tuning that you get, which I'll show you, and that's going to be an unfortunate moment, is what you get. The CBJ Assassin has a haptic DD combo like that set without a balanced armature, I believe. I don't see it written on the back. It does have switches that you can turn that on or off, so there's that. Before I continue, the person that won the last Chopin, the collab with Timmy and Binary Acoustic, already ordered it because they wanted to support him, which is a nice gesture, and said go ahead and redo that, and I'll take, could I get this other thing that's kind of similarly priced? And I said sure. So if you are a subscriber to this channel and you comment below, you would qualify to get this, and I will do this rather soon so that you can get it around the time that other people are receiving it, which is right about now. So I'll do it really soon, actually. Go ahead and put that down. So, and also give a thumbs up if you generally like the video. Let's go ahead and let me cut right to the chase, like a doctor giving the time of death. Patient died at 1:54 p.m. on November 1st, 2023. Put that on the death certificate for these two sets, and I'll explain the cause of death for both of these. I don't script myself, but that sounded actually kind of clever. But I'll just move along. Saying that out loud doesn't, kind of takes away from it. Let's look at the graphs. Now, on the left side, we've got the haptic driver doing its thing in the mid bass. You might look at that and, that's ridiculous. Let me explain for people, just so they understand. If you're into gaming, you know exactly what I'm going to say, but some people, they're not, so let's talk about it. Force feedback, the haptic driver. The whole purpose of that is to transfer energy in association with something like, it's typically low frequency events, tank rumbling up behind you in a game, explosions in a game, low frequency events in a musical passage. To transfer that energy to you, your body, your chest, your back, headphones to around your ear and into your ear, you need a driver that's creating energy and force, kind of like a piston slinging up against something. There's another type also that has more radiating type energy. It's got to be strong enough to make enough energy to pass through the surface that is contacting your body, whether it's a vest, a headphone, or IMs. And whether you like what it looks like or not, to get that, you're going to have to really boost up the mid bass. Now, let's take a couple notes. For a long time, people have been talking about how the rumble and all of that stuff existed in the sub bass, and I've been telling people for years that I come from car audio. That's actually not where it occurs. It's not in the sub bass. There's really not a lot going down in there. It's kind of like a hum, flutter when a low driver is doing really, really low hits. You're not getting the tactile slam from the sub bass. It's coming from the mid bass. That's why these haptic drivers do what they do, where they do it. Now, having said that, we can see that the cause of death for the TRN Mars is obnoxious, ridiculous treble, upper mids, causing immediate death. That there's no way that I could ever recommend that. The cause of death for the CBJ Assassin is it's not really doing enough to be called a gaming set. It doesn't vibrate across the table. It doesn't tickle my ear. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Beyond that, let me point out that the combination of a haptic driver and a DD dynamic driver being one and the same, to my ears sounds like a bad idea. It doesn't sound like a very good driver. And you're combining the two of them. Let me give you a good example. Let me speak English. Let me give you a good example. Kryn did a collab with a company that, don't worry about it. Anyway, before I knew it was a collab, because it was labeled as another set to me, I had said that the tuning to be more traditional instead of a V was making it so that everything was much more audible. And in doing so, the quality of the driver became more clear. When you have a V-shaped tuning, bass is booming and the treble is screaming. You can't tell the quality of the driver. When you tune out a little bit closer, not neutral, but warm, slightly bright, where everything is more audible. You can pick up on the technicalities, the resolution, the ability of the driver. Now, I bring up that point and about that set because this combination of a haptic driver and a dynamic driver being one and the same and put together is clear in both of these sets. And that's another cause of death, is that they just don't sound very good as earphones. So they don't really tickle your ear the way that they're supposed to, which is their point of existence. And number two, they don't really sound very good at all. And let me throw in a couple extra things that don't need to be in there, but let's just put them in there anyway. I'm going to roll this and see. I don't know if you can see that. See that shiny part? And then it's not shiny, and then shiny. The first time I put this mic on the TRN, it's just snapped. The shroud on it snapped. So if you bought this, you would be extremely upset immediately. Now, I'm not sure if I brought this up already. I'll see it in the edit. But I want to point out a positive. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The Y split, the Y split. Here's the Y split for 2 sets. Pull it out, and it's got a knot in it, but this is the CBJ. It's pretty typical. There's a lot of the Storm, the Grand Maestro, they're all about the same length. Typical length, designed to be on your hip, in your pocket, with a little bit of slack, and that's basically what it's supposed to be doing for portable IMs. But for sit down with gaming, that's simply not going to suffice. And they included a longer cable, which is a great idea and matches the usage that would be imagined for this set. The best part of this whole set is the cable's longer than it typically is, which seems like they put some thought into it. Also, the TRN has a plastic resin shell. I usually prefer metal, but I will say that when it comes to the force feedback, the haptic type drivers, I think that the metal shells kind of kill it. They eat it up, absorb it, and reflect it, and the plastic ones seem to give a little bit more of the tactile sensation. I would think that to companies, and they're going to watch this, what I would do is take a driver and dedicate it to the low end, a haptic driver. That's what that does. And then a driver that people are familiar with and have said previously, reviewers or buyers, and said, that's a really good set, that sounds good, it resolves well. Sell it as, hey, that driver that you like, that set, we got one kind of like that. And also we've added a switch where you can turn on this other driver, not the same one, a separate driver that can kick in and turn on the bass, and you can use it with gaming, and separate the two and give them the option to go from one to the other. Because as you're doing it right now, you do have a switch where you can allow them, but you're turning off part of that driver that's not really a good driver. So both of these are terminal and are dead on arrival, in my opinion. I wouldn't advise anybody to purchase it at this point. I was kind of hoping that this would turn out different. I thought it was that they weren't putting up the bass enough. Now, the TRN Mars, to be straight with you, it doesn't really vibe that much. And the treble is obnoxious, and the overall quality doesn't sound very good. I think you would need to boost it up even more. I mean, like 20 dB in that range. To get just to plug it into your phone, listen to a regular track without any EQ, and get that subtle vibration in your ear. I think you would need about 20 dB right there. Test it in your lab with your computer. At what point do you get the vibration regardless of what you're using? Like, plug it into a phone that's got a 3.5 out, low voltage output. Listen to a regular song, and when the low frequency events happen in whatever music you listen to, what is that elevation? That's the one you want to get, because that's the bare minimum everybody's going to use, and then other people are going to listen to bassy music, and then they'll definitely get it. And then you're also using that good driver that you told everybody about, and then you can sell that, which is what this is all about. Sales, profit, making money. Know your market. This looks like it's aimed at gamers, but it's not going to hit the target. My opinion. Did I already say the time of death? I did. I won't beat that to death. I'm out. You want to get the Chopin, my last one? It's already been opened. This was the one I reviewed. Comment below, and you got to be a subscriber. 1111's coming. A lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm out.